Shifting focus to another global story at this hour. Now, top diplomats from United States, Israel and Arab states met for a historic meeting on Monday. In focus were issues ranging from Russia-Ukraine war to the Iranian nuclear deal negotiations in Vienna. Now, attending the meeting were U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, Israeli Foreign Minister Yair Lapid, the foreign ministers of UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, all of whom normalized ties with Israel in 2022, and the foreign ministers of Egypt, which made peace with Israel in 1979. For the first time, the talks brought all of these foreign ministers together on Israeli soil. The location of the summit was symbolic too. It took place at a desert retreat in the SDE Boker kibbutz deep in the Negev desert. This is where Israel's founding father, David Ben-Gurion, is buried. But the Negev summit was not without controversy. It was marred by a shooting attack in northern Israel by the Islamic State and Prime Minister Naftali Bennett's positive COVID test. For the United States, this was a rare show of unity with its West Asian allies, especially over fears of Washington's commitment to the region. But it also issued to the rare summit to press its host and long-time ally on the Palestine issue, calling for a revival of the long-stalled peacemaking process. Washington says that the Abraham Accords are not a substitute for Israeli-Palestinian progress. Listen in.
As we do, we have to be clear that these regional peace agreements are not a substitute for progress between Palestinians and Israelis. One of the issues we discussed today was how countries involved in the Abraham Accords and normalization, as well as those that have long-standing diplomatic relationships with Israel, can support the Palestinian Authority and the Palestinian people in concrete ways and have a positive impact on the daily lives of Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza.
Now, both the United States and the Arab countries present at the summit supported two-state solution. One, where Palestinians would gain statehood along with Israel. Talks for a two-state solution was stalled in 2014. Currently, Israel occupies most of West Bank, while the Gaza Strip is ruled by the Hamas. High on the agenda were also talks about restoring the nuclear deal. Israel and sub-Arab nations have expressed their concerns about the deal. They say it will bolster Tehran's power in the region. But here in Negev, Blinken offered Washington's regional allies reassurances, while Israel said that the strong Arab-Israeli alliance is enough to deter Iran.
This new architecture, the shared capabilities we are building, intimidates and deters our common enemies, first and foremost, Iran and its proxies.
Now, the Negev summit comes as West Asian nations are caught in a bind between the West and Russia, but they are wary to pick sides. Most of them are charting their own foreign policy path. They haven't shown strong support for sanctions on Russia, and most of them have not even distanced themselves from Moscow. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas even rebuffed any pressure to criticize Russia, instead calling out the West for double standards during a meeting with Blinken. Listen in.
وإن استمرار الإجراءات الإسرائيلية الأحادية الجانب ستؤدي في وقت قريب إلى تنفيذ قرارات المجلس المركزي الفلسطيني. إن ما يحدث في فلسطين لا يمكن السكوت عنه، والقانون الدولي لا يمكن أن يتجدد.